everyone, and welcome to Science Lab. The signs are happening because Lord Jesus Christ is coming. Every day we are looking at some of the great signs that are happening around us.
Today we are going to look at some of the end time signs happening in Europe.
French President Emmanuel Macron has taken drastic actions to combat the spread of coronavirus in France. In doing so, he is pressuring other European leaders to do the same. His popularity rating jumped to a more than 2-year high, edging past the 50% marks for the first time since 2018, as voters give his handling the coronavirus crisis a vote of confidence.
The French were quick to forget the waves of protest against Macron's past decisions. The whole country is now looking to his leadership. The crisis presents him with a chance to solidify his rule as France's strong man. But what most don't realize is Macron's actions are ultimately playing into Germany's hands.
Like other countries around the world, France wasn't prepared for the coronavirus crisis. Its economy is threatened by recession and its hospitals are overburdened with patients. Some patients have even been transferred to Germany for critical treatment. As of March 25, 2020, France has more than 22,000 coronavirus cases and 1,100 deaths. Germany has more than 35,000 cases, but only 181 have died thus far. The people in France are glued to Macron's speeches. His address on the 12th of March 2020 reached 25 million French viewers, breaking all previous records. But that record was soon broken. On the 16th of March 2020, his address reached more than 35 million people, 96% of television viewers. The enemy is real, though not as lethal as some claim. Yet the people are scared. That's why even Macron's lockdown of many French businesses and most public life is widely accepted. Emmanuel Macron presents himself as a warlord in the fight against coronavirus and as a leader of Europe in the crisis. The Yellow Vest crisis and months of protests against pension reform seem to have been forgotten. According to the LPSOS Institute's latest survey, 55% of citizens believe that the government is fighting the virus effectively. The streets that were previously filled with protesters and lit by burning cars are now empty, as most citizens diligently follow Macron's orders. France continues to struggle to keep rebels down, but now most view the measures as justified. The people yearn to return to a routine, believing that if they follow the government's orders, it will come sooner rather than later. In France, after a week of curfew, the overwhelming majority of citizens understand that without an intermittent, possibly lengthy renunciation of individual freedoms and pleasure, this epidemic will not be contained. Macron has had to deal with many setbacks in recent months. One of them was Brexit. Britain officially left the European Union on January 31, 2020. In some cases, it seemed Prime Minister Boris Johnson was gaining the upper hand in negotiations with the EU. This, of course, was to the great displeasure of Macron, who likes to view himself as the de facto leader of Europe and defender of the continent's unity. In the coronavirus crisis, Macron was able to achieve an apparent victory. He told Johnson on the 20th of March that he would close France's border to the United Kingdom if Johnson continued to refuse to take more restrictive measures to contain the coronavirus. Macron at the time was upset that no more major European leaders were following his lead, causing him to look extreme. Johnson eventually ordered the shutdown of schools, pubs, and restaurants and asked that people stay indoors. Britain's tougher measures caused Macron to shine. Hesitant leaders look weak. Even if Macron's actions are too extreme, the fact that others are taking similar actions now make the measures appear justified. People are now thankful for his leadership. Throughout his time in office, Macron has appeared to rise to Europe's leadership. He has criticized the United States and Britain. He has called for greater unity within Europe. But in all this, a clear trend is taking place. President Macron demands what Germany wants. Germany eventually took steps to contain the virus, but its no-contact policy and ban of all gatherings of more than 2 people looks mild compared to Macron's measures. In World War II, the German war machine relied on a submissive populace. Since the war, however, Germans have been reluctant to trust their government. But the recent crisis and how various leaders are dealing with it have caused many in Europe to trust and look at their own governments once again. Out of all the nations in Europe, Germany was the most prepared for the crisis. It has been saving money for years and has invested heavily in its healthcare system. Though the crisis will certainly take a toll on Germany, lockdowns will harm the rest of Europe much more. The crisis will thus solidify Germany's economic rule in Europe. Macron is leading Europe into lockdown and effectively tying Europe's economic needs to Germany. In a very subtle way, he is helping Germany take on more leadership in Europe and appear moderate in doing so.
Macron is thus fulfilling Bible prophecy. Revelation 17:12-13 reveals that in the end times 10 kings who are all anchored and submissive to Germany will rise in Europe.
These 10 kings are prophesied to rule as dictators. Macron's recent lockdown of France gives us a glimpse into what they may look like. Citizens are getting used to the rule of strongmen. They are being forced to rely on what the government tells them to do and concede their normal freedoms. The role President Macron is playing in Europe and the Bible prophecy is utterly unique to that of any other current leader.
We have seen many end-time signs happening in Europe, but there is more. Don't go anywhere. We'll meet you after a short break. Welcome back to Science Lab. The signs are happening because Lord Jesus Christ is coming. We have seen about the end-time signs happening in Europe, and let's continue.
In the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, on April 22, 2020, French President Emmanuel Macron sought a dialogue with representatives of religious and secular associations in France, hoping to unite France in renewed solidarity.
In Emmanuel Macron's talk with cults, Macron wanted to hear from the worship leaders how the containment measures were perceived in their various communities.
But in the second time in the past 2 months that the French president had held a meeting of this nature, his most recent meeting shows how much he is concerned about the crisis' effect on France's social fabric.
French Bishops' Conference, Major Eric de Molins-Beaufort represented the Catholic Church at the meeting. Macron had previously received Molins-Beaufort for a 1.5-hour courtesy visit in August 2019. One of the talking points between the two was the relations between cults and the state. The Catholic representative is reportedly very pleased with how Macron is following up on the discussion. Molins-Beaufort said, "I believe that the president's wish was clearly to thank the investment of cults in the face of COVID-19. Emmanuel Macron wanted to know what our state of mind was. He wanted to hear from us about the plight of French people facing death and mourning. He knows that the families are deprived of funerals and that this is very hard. We can no longer comfort ourselves, hug each other. We insisted on the fact that we should organize dignified ceremonies after the fact. Francois Claveroli, president of the Protestant Federation of France, explained why these meetings are of such great importance to the French president. For Emmanuel Macron, religious denominations bring social cohesion. Faced with this global health crisis, he is determined to call upon all resources, including spiritual resources. Macron seeks to use religion to unite his divided country. About an hour prior to his meeting with the various religious representatives, Macron had a telephonic conversation with Pope Francis. According to the president's office, the two men stressed their convergence of views concerning the universal truths, debt cancellation, international solidarity, and Europe. During the call, Macron also explained France's strategy in the crisis and renewed his invitation for Pope Francis to visit France. Church and state in France are required by law to be separate, but Macron believes they need to work together. At the Collège des Bernardins, on April 9, 2018, Macron delivered a hour-long speech to French Catholic bishops and more than 400 Catholic leaders. In his opening remarks, he said, "We doubtless share the same vague feeling that the link between the church and the state has been damaged, and we both believe it is important to repair it." He told the bishops, "Indeed, it is because I refuse to be indifferent that I am aware to what extent the history that the state and the church have shared for so long is now peppered with misunderstandings and reciprocal mistrust. But today, in this period of great social fragility, when even the fabric of the nation is at risk of falling apart, I believe it is my responsibility not to let Catholics' trust for politics and politicians erode away." During the periods that the Holy Roman Empire was on the scene, church and state worked closely together, and until the Protestant Reformation, the Catholic Church was the undisputed most powerful religious authority in Europe. France has a long history of cooperation with the Roman Catholic Church. During times of crisis, the French have been united in belief and hope through the cohesive factor of religion, striving for the same goals, attending the same services, hearing the same messages, and being inspired by the same music, the same culture. The country's unity has suffered through infighting within the Catholic Church and following the Protestant Reformation. The Catholic Church's supreme goal has always been to unite Europe under one government and one religion. That is exactly what the Holy Roman Empire is. But throughout history, this goal has only been achieved with much bloodshed. Charlemagne, the first emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, is the leader Europe often looks to with admiration. Former German President Roman Herzog said in 1997 during his acceptance speech for the Charlemagne Prize, "For 1,000 years, the destiny of a continent has revolved around the choice between a cohesive or a fragmented Europe. Charlemagne, after whom our prize is named, made his own particular choice, the first unification of Europe. At such an hour, the trust must be told, only by wading through a sea of blood, sweat, and tears did he reach his goal." Indeed, the history of European unification has been one of much blood. Germany has been Europe's greatest perpetrator in instigating that bloodshed. Roman Herzog has long been one of Germany's biggest promoters for European unification. He and many other European leaders frequently harken back to Charlemagne as the inspiration behind modern day unification. Mr. Macron also seeks to unite Europeans by means of religion. While Macron is seeking closer alliance with Germany, he is also allying with Europe's oldest institution, the Roman Catholic Church. Macron is thus leading France into a dangerous church-state union that has plagued the continent for centuries, the Holy Roman Empire. This empire has brought unity to Europe, but it has always come with a price. In the name of religion, millions have fought and died on the European continent. For rejecting Catholicism, many have been tortured and killed by the state, but at the behest of the church.
The Holy Roman Empire was prophesied to plague this earth 7 successive times, Daniel chapter 2 and 7 and Revelation chapter 13 and 17. We have already seen this empire rise 6 times. The last resurrection is prophesied to consist of 10 European nations or groups of nations, ruled by 10 European kings. At the helm of the empire will be Germany.
The soon coming union between church and the state is a crucial part of the fulfillment of this prophecy. You need to understand what these prophecies mean, how they are being fulfilled, and where this is all leading.
All this shows that what is mentioned in the Bible that are going to take place in the end times are taking place in our lifetime. We are living in the last days and the Lord Jesus Christ is coming again very soon.
Thank you for watching this episode. Don't forget to tune into Science Lab next time.
And before we end the show, we would like to ask you a question. Who seeks to use religion to unite his divided country? Option A, Angela Merkel. Option B, Emmanuel Macron. And option C, Sebastian Kurz.
Send us your correct answers to our email address sciencelab@angeltv.org. If you have missed any of the episodes, don't worry, you can watch it again in our Science Lab YouTube page. But don't forget to like, share and comment on this video.
And also ask your friends and relatives to watch the Science Lab so that they will know that we are living in the last days. Remember, signs are happening because Lord Jesus Christ is coming. Maranatha.